So if you downloaded my Nomad Sculpt environment with circular reflection, I want to show you how to use it. So it's an image, it's not a brush, it's just a JPEG image. So what you want to do is send that image to your iPad. You want it on your iPad or your tablet. So if you look through it, like here is the image. So in Nomad, of course, you might have a default environment. So you just go to this little sun right here and then go all the way down and you see environment. So when you check this environment, you see that all of a sudden all these lights and stuff pop up. I'll turn it off, turn it on. So you see all these reflections. So essentially it's just reflecting from the environment. The environment is, even though I have him in this ocean setting, the environment is just going to reflect off of any areas that are glossy. So the environment is also going to affect the tone, the hue, so like the temperature of it. This is kind of yellow, so you can tap here. This is a little bit more blue and cool, and all of these little things will change depending on what your environment is. What you need to do is go to import. You can see I've done this a bunch of times. Go to photos. So then once you go to photos, you just want to find your environment. So here's the environment. So I tap the environment and it's just gonna, and I hit add, it's gonna show up here. Then you just tap your environment here. So this is why I made this environment, because I wanted the light to look very specific on the eyes. So that's what I created in Procreate. So now what you do is you can see that I already have lighting. And of course, just really quickly, if you don't have any lights, then your sculpt will just be black. So a lot of times you'll sculpt like this, and then eventually before you do your lighting, just turn off your environment, whatever environment it is, and that's how you light it. And you can see all the levels of my lighting here. So with the environment, you can move the sculpt around and you can see those areas of the light changing. And that's basically the eye glare environment. So it's just literally, it's just an environment here. And of course you can also adjust the brightness of it. So if you have it up really bright, it's going to brighten the whole scene, but it's also going to brighten this. And another little trick that you can do, whatever your glossy surface is, so like for example, I'll just make it easier. I'll just add a black sphere. So I've added a sphere, doesn't need to be that big. I'm going to color it black and make sure that I have no roughness. I'll turn the metalness down too and do paint all. So now you can really see that glare on it. So one thing that you can also do is change the rotation. So this will just rotate the image, so it'll change where that glare is. So you change the rotation and then you can kind of adjust it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's how you use the environment. Hopefully that was helpful. And to make things look really good, you really need to have a combination of great lighting. So you want your lightings to come from different sides. You want one to come from like the back, lighting up maybe the edge. You want a light coming from one side, maybe a light coming from the top or the bottom. So you want to play around with your lighting and you want to include your environment. And as you can see, sometimes when you're positioning things, like you kind of have to find where those pops of light are. So I might have to rotate, you know, so I can get the look that I want for my render. So that's how you use the environment. I just wanted to make this video because I have a lot of people that are a little confused with that and might think it's a brush or might think it's something other than an image. And it's just an image. I use it all the time. I love it. And there's also another video that I'm going to make soon that you can bring your Nomad sculpts into Blender, and essentially on my Gumroad, the same place I have the eye environment, I'm going to upload my Blender backdrop. So and this will be, actually I was just working on it. Well, I probably didn't save it. So I was working on this character and I saved him in Nomad. So I saved him in Nomad, I put a floor and I tried to match exactly what I'm going to do on Blender just to show the differences. And essentially what you'll be able to do is download that Blender file. So if you haven't used Blender, you can just import it into Blender. I'll show you how to do that in the video. You can import it into Blender and you can play around with the lights. So you have a lot more things that you can do with the lights, with the shadows, with the environment, with the materials. There's so much you can do in Blender. It's just very different than Nomad. Nomad makes great renders, but it's just a big jump in quality when you move to Blender. I highly recommend it, especially for rendering. I hate it for sculpting, but I love it for rendering. So look out for that in the next video. It will be the video after this. All right, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video.